Hi there and happy Tuesday. I'm coming to you with card number 1 for Beth Galswick's virtual stamp party. And it's also July, which means it's World Watercolor Month. And so I thought it would only be fitting that I would do something with watercolors. So for those of you that maybe aren't comfortable or aren't familiar with watercoloring today, I'm going to give you just a really quick lesson on watercoloring. Hi there, Pam. Pam, I'm glad you're here because you love to learn coloring techniques, and so today will be a soft lesson on watercoloring, just really basic, really quick, and just really soft. So just a way to add a little bit of color, just to see that something's there but not too overpowering. So that's going to be my lesson today for you guys. Hi there, Lois. Thanks for joining in. So yeah, I have a new virtual hostess. So this week will be dedicated to Beth, and her host code here I'll show you in just a second. I was hoping that my Facebook page here would pop up and that I'd be caught up. Yes, it is, I think. There I am. So I'm going to put this down and my card so that you can see it. Thanks for joining in, Kay. Yes, all right. Let me get this turned around here like so, and then you can see the card a lot better. Hi there, Sherry. Thanks for joining in. And thanks for sharing, Kay. That's great. I appreciate that. All right, let me get some more light on here. So you are wonderful in every way. And like I said, I wanted to just show you just a little bit of watercoloring on here today, as well as a bundle that I just think is so pretty. And it's the Happiness Abounds bundle. So let me set Beth's card aside. So I'll be doing her videos. My goal is today card number 1, tomorrow card number 2, and Friday card number 3 for her virtual 3-pack. So from the annual catalog here on pages 108 and 109, you'll see these gorgeous layouts of beautiful projects. I was just going to see, sometimes it continues on to the next page, but they have done a lot with designer series paper. I had a friend call me out, and it's not like a bad call me out, but she's like, you do a lot with designer series paper, and I know I do. So today after I finished my card, I went, you know what? I didn't use any of the designer series paper, and I actually love this designer series paper because the dyes that I'm using today can cut out some of these images, the greenery and the flowers and different things. And so when you see some of these pretty things and you think, boy, they did really nice watercoloring, a lot of those are just cutting the colored flowers out with dyes and everything. But today I'm not using any of the pretty papers. I'm just using the bundle, the Happiness Abounds stamp set there. Hi, Carol. Thanks for joining in. And then the Blossoming Happiness dies is the other part of the stamp set. I love the sentiments in here. I love the floral images that are really easy to color in, either with watercolor technique that I'm going to show today, or the blends, the Stampin' Blends and things like that. So there's kind of this fun background die that I'm going to use, and then a big floral and a couple little leaves and bouquets. But then there's still a lot in here. So fun edge pieces, and then more flowers and leaves and another little bouquet to cut out in there. So that's what I'm not using. So I'll set that aside and then kind of put this front and center. And I think what I'm going to do first is show you kind of my color combination. If you know me, I love the grays, like the basic gray and smoky slate. I feel like our grays really coordinate well with so many other colors. I love it with reds, which is a really bold color. I love it with soft succulent. It's kind of, to me, soft succulent is a pretty green with gray mixed in. So I think, you know, like I go into people's homes and I just sometimes see this type of color arrangement and I'm like, oh, that's really pretty. Maybe I should make a card. But my card inspiration today actually came from Instagram, and there's a Stampin' Through the Catalog Instagram person that actually shared one of my card creations from a couple months ago, and I kind of felt like really, famous for like those few seconds, and I went, what is she doing? So Stampin' Through the Catalog, I found this gorgeous card, which is pretty similar to what I'm doing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make her feel famous and copy her right back. So I think what I'll start with is this 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic gray cardstock here. And I'm just going to get my cut and emboss machine ready to roll for you guys here like so. And yeah, that's the plate I need. Okay, so I'm going to put that down. And like I said, this is kind of a designer little die that I like to run through from this bundle just to give it some kind of design in the back. Hi there, Jeannie. Thanks for joining it. Now I'm going to end up running this through on the top and the bottom, so that's why I have it kind of high up there at the top. And because it's pretty detailed, then I'm going to give it a double run through like so. And then I can just lift this up, and a lot of those little pieces come out like so. And then I'm just going to put this back down and then do that same thing for the bottom half. A lot of my floral images and the sentiment is going to be in the middle, so I'm not too concerned about getting this design to go through on there. And because it does such a great job of cutting things out, I do have this here, and I love using my attachment to my Take Your Pick tool. Hi, Arlene. And I do, like to just run this through. But this is also one of those things, too, where if some of these little pieces stay in there, I kind of like that look, too. So it's like, well, I got that off. And obviously, you can see on my plate that there's a lot there, too. And since I'm going to do more die cutting off camera, I'm going to give that a clean shuffle off so that that's ready to go. And then we have this to put on our card front here in a second. So I'll set that aside, and then I need to do some stamping. And because the Happiness Abounds is a photopolymer stamp set, that means you can see through it there on our blocks. I want to make sure and grab my Stampin' Pierce mat here, or my Stampin' mat, and I'm going to ink up the biggest, boldest flower from the stamp set there, like so. And that turns out so gorgeous. I love the detail in there. And then I'm going to need 3 of these, but to save you guys time, I already stamped and cut those out. And then I'm going to add these leaves and, whoops, don't want a hair fiber on there. So if you're going to make this card and follow it based on what I'm doing, you'll need 3 of these stamped and cut out, and then 2 of these bouquets and 2 of these leaf images. So let me just set that aside for now, and then I'll bring back my machine here to cut those out. I found that the flower was pretty easy to line up, and of course, when I have to do it in front of you guys, I'll be like, where does that go? And sometimes I just kind of look for that little edge in there. There it is. And there it goes. It's like once you kind of think you're close, then it just all falls into place, which is great. And then I will put the leaves on there and this bouquet. Hopefully all of it there fits well enough where I can put them all through at the same time. Love it when that happens. So I'm just going to scoot that through for you guys. And then you can see here I've got this all cut out. I love how close it cuts out, which is great. And then these 2, these are going to be kind of almost like embellishment pieces to bring in a little extra color. So the rest now we're done cutting with the machine, so we can just set that aside. But like I said, we'll need 3 of these flower pieces, and then 2 of the greenery, and then 2 of the little bouquet pieces. And now I'm going to give you a coloring lesson. And because I know Pam's watching and she loves my coloring lessons, and even if she wasn't, I would get my camera closer here to show you how to do this. So with the gray granite ink pad, even though I'm using basic gray, when I was reading through the notes of Stampin' Through the Catalog, she said she used this color, and I really like that idea. You can, before you open up your ink pad, give it a squish, Or sometimes I don't get the ink transferred from here onto my cover very well when I squish it. So what I like to do is just take out the re-inker for gray granite and just give it a couple little squirts or dots of ink from the re-inker, so that works very well. Yes, Pam's watching and she's reminding me that she is. All right, that's great. So what I'm going to do, and I used these last week, and like I said, how fun that it's World Watercolor Month. So the water painters should be really popular this month if we're all trying to gear something towards that. I like to give my watercolor, there's three different brushes. So I'm leaving the big one in there. It's got a pretty wide base. That's great for backgrounds and such. But I'm using kind of the medium brush, and I give it a good squeeze in there to water that down. And then I'll kind of look like, okay, this is watered down nice. I'm just going to go over all of this super quick. And you can see that it fills in really easily. Give it another squeeze because I want this to be really light. And I'll go over all of it, not caring if I get to the edges or anything. It's going to be more of a color wash, but then I'll go back for the deeper color and then just go over the center and kind of fade out where the artist has a little bit more going on there in the center. So you can see a really quick and easy color wash. And even around this area here, you can tell it's not perfect, and that's okay. So we've got that one done, and I think I'm gonna go right back for the deep, darker color and just do that same thing right away. And then just add some more of that color, just doing what I did with the first one, just giving it a basic color wash. So this kind of takes on almost like a taupey color, which I think is really rich and pretty. I'll set that one aside. I was gonna do the watercoloring too for all three flowers, since I cut them ahead and had them all laid out and such, and I'm like, you know what, this really goes pretty quick, and I want to show you that, yeah, you can just do a color wash this quick and easy. And I know Carol's watching too, and sometimes coloring things in isn't her favorite thing to do, so I'm trying to tell people that, yeah, this is really easy to do. So I've got those three things done, so this can get closed up there like so. And then what I'm going to do is switch gears, and I'm going to go to Soft Succulent, and I'm going to see if I can give that one a good squeeze there. Now when you squeeze it, that's kind of what you end up with. And I'm going to grab my finer tipped brush here, and this one's a little bit more fine, and I'm just going to add a little bit of water there. You can see that happening there. And now I'm going to grab my two sets of leaves here that I want to use, and I'm just going to color those in. And once again, if it doesn't get filled in completely within the leaf, it's okay. And this one, I think I'm just gonna, got kind of light. I do like the variance of the light and dark too within the leaves, because I think that makes it look pretty natural too. It could, so Pam's asking, does it curl up if it gets too watery? It could. So I kind of use my water sparingly, and sometimes I've wanted to do like I just did with the leaf, go back and add a little bit more color to it, which sometimes then you add a little bit more water, but I'm just using just barely any water on here so that that doesn't happen. Another thing it can kind of do, if your brush gets too dry, if you're not using enough water and you're kind of just taking and reapplying that with a dry brush, it kind of makes it want to get peely, and nobody likes it to get peely. So on this bouquet, I'm just taking and dabbing a little bit of greenery and trying to like fill that in on the bouquet too, for the little bit of the green that I need. And then I'm going to switch colors. So off of my scratch paper, which happens to be where Beth's, my hostess's little code piece of paper is, I'm just going to just scribble that back and forth, brush out to the color, and then I'm going to switch to Pale Papaya. And that worked out well to get some of that color on there, but I want to add some more water because the pale papaya is beautiful and soft, and I definitely don't want to get too much going on because I want it to retain looking beautiful and soft. So I'm just going to color that in like so, and I'm going to do that second one, and then I'll hold it up to the camera for you as well. And once again, just kind of washing over the entire flower and not really paying too much attention if I get it totally to the end, or if I even go outside of the lines too. So there we have a really quick watercolor wash there. Hi Ev, thanks for joining in. So I've got that, and now I can set this aside as well. And now it's going to be just kind of putting a lot of this together. So because of that, I'm going to pop my screen back up to give you guys more of my workspace area. And I have a little bit more stamping to do. I'm going to pull in that piece for the sentiment. So this I cut soft succulent 3 inches by 1 inch. And where's my stamping mat? Oops, here it is. And I'm going to bring that over, and from that same Happiness Abounds stamp set. Love the font and the words. I think the words are just so pretty to go along with these floral images. So this says, "You are wonderful in every way." So even with the cursive, I feel like it is very, very easy to read. The font is really nice. And now I left a little extra on each side. I'm going to give this a punch. I haven't used this for a while and I really like it. It's the Lovely Labels Pick a Punch. So there's 2 different images here, and then each one can punch out 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch, and the little trays kind of help guide that. So I'm doing the 1 inch on this bottom image. I'm just going to give that a punch. So that's why I left a little extra, because this is what cuts off on the edge. You don't want to get it to be too close. And then I'll just push in the other side there, and there we have that now with a nice edge on both sides. So that is the Lovely Labels Pick a Punch. So I'll set that there, and now I can take these pieces and some dimensionals and just kind of add dimensionals here and there. I'm just going to kind of add a couple to each flower, and then I know I'm going to want a couple on the edge here, but I'm going to add just an adhesive here because that's where it's going to kind of sit on top of my other flower images. So I'm just gonna take off all these little tops. I feel like when they're all ready, then it's easier to just place them. Yep, they're all off. Okay, so these are gonna be ready here in a sec, but I need to take that pretty 4 by 5 1/4 piece here and get that on my card base. So I'm doing basic gray on basic gray. So here we have the card base in basic gray, cut and scored that way. And then I'm just going to put some of my seal adhesive right where we haven't cut. Kind of like to get it to the corners when I can so that those stick down, but I don't want to get it where I've cut with the dies, just because then it'll get icky, sticky, gooey through there. And now this is ready to place on top of my card front. And I do see a little bit of extra glue right in that one spot. So I'm able to stick that kind of back down. So being gray on gray, it just adds a really, really pretty background there. And I really like how it just shows just really quick and easy and gives it a different look. So now for this, I'm going to just pop one of these flowers here. And I'm just going to have one kind of going right to the edge there. And then I'm going to put my sentiment here so that I know I'm going to put this down light because I'm going to pick it back up. That way I kind of know where my floral images are going to sit and everything. So just kind of want to squeeze that in like so. Now I'm going to pull that back up because I want to add another little thing, and that's the ribbon. So Beth's getting a lot of products added onto this today. This is the soft succulent. oops, get a little closer there, soft succulent open weave ribbon. So all of the last year's in colors that are still around have this open weave ribbon, and it's just so pretty. So I'm just gonna kind of cut like so. Oops, I want a little bit more of an angle on that. There we go. So I'm just gonna do this type of ribbon look here, and then I'm just going to hold that down, and then I'm going to place again the sentiment. Like I said, I popped it up underneath there to keep it the same height as these flowers, but when I go on top of here, this part just has the regular adhesive, and all of that will hold down this extra ribbon just to add a little bit more texture and bring in a little bit more of that soft succulent color. Thanks, Pam. And now the rest will be pretty easy to finish. So we have this bouquet here and these leaves here, and so I'm just going to tuck those under here and right there just to add a little bit more color. And how fun does that look? It just brightens up the whole card to add just that little bit. I did think about skipping that part when I was copying her card. Like, does that need to be on there? I love just kind of the monochromatic look of it, but then it's like once I place this in here, I'm like, oh no, that really should be in there. I like that. So I'm just going to have this kind of with some glue dots popping out of there as well. So yeah, and then for the embellishment, I'm still going to add a little bit more, and I'm choosing the 2021 through 2023 in color opal rounds. So you can see the soft succulent that I'm working with and the pale papaya. And I'm just going to grab one of the large pale papayas and kind of put that in the center of that die cut design. And then just add a small one up here and then just a small one up in that corner too, so that we have a little extra color and shimmer shine going on the card like so. Now for the inside, it says, "You are wonderful in every way." So that could be, you know, it could actually be a thank you card. It would make a great birthday card. And the stamp set has sending thanks for all you do, which would really work well. And then even friend is great. Happy birthday. I'm going to leave this blank in the inside so that the people that will be receiving these cards through Beth's Party will have the option to make it however they want it to be. And I'm just going to, for the inside then, add this big floral looking flower there. And I'm going to bring back my my gray granite and that big, not large, but the bigger water painter here, and just color some of that in. And if you feel like your water brush isn't like pushing it easily, that's when you know you need to add just a skosh more water. Just give your brush a squeeze, and then it should just float right over that. So I'm adding that color onto there, and then it just takes just a few seconds to dry where I'm not worried about that smearing or going anywhere, and that can go right in the inside of the card like so. I'm gonna push that down, and now it is complete and finished. So maybe a little bit putzier as far as all the die cuts and different things, but yet the watercolor part of it really comes together quick. And I love the pop that it gives off of that basic gray, and then the color that the pale papaya and soft succulent add to it. So that is Beth Galswick's card number 1 for her virtual party. So I hope you enjoyed. Let me get this turned around a little bit. Hope you enjoyed the watercolor lesson that I did. So sometimes I kind of like to color in with my Stampin' Blends, and you guys know that. And it's kind of fun to bring out like even the the blend. Let's see. If I have one here, yeah, a lot of you like to use these too, and these work great with the same technique that I used today, and some of you like to add a little bit more water and do it with the brushes that I used today too. So there's no right or wrongs. It's kind of like sometimes what you're in the mood for, what you feel comfortable with, and so hopefully this will be a nice little lesson just to make you feel more comfortable in doing what you want your project to look like. Thanks so much, Cindy. Thanks for joining in too. So how you can get the 3 cards that I'm making this week for Beth Galswick's virtual stamp party is any orders placed, and some of you have already ordered towards her party, so that's exciting, and I can't wait to let her know that. You just order a minimum $25 order using her host code, or when you're ordering through me and I'm helping you with that, which I can easily do, just remind me to use her code, and then you'll get the 3 cards that I'm making throughout this week as a thank you from both Beth and I for ordering through her party. So hope to see you tomorrow afternoon. I'll be doing card number 2 for her party. And then the next couple weeks too, I will have a couple more hostesses lined up. And it's great because celebration's still going on, even though I didn't use any celebration products today. But I love them, and I'm sure I'll be using some throughout the week before it's over. So take care. Have a great night. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.